Hi everybody. So in this video, we're going to look at plotting a straight line graph using a table of results. So we'll work through 4 examples, and if you want to work along with me, you can download a copy of this PDF from my website. I'll leave a link below. So in our first question, we've been asked to draw a graph of this equation, given values of x from -2 to +2. So if we create a table of results, we've got our x values and our y values. And we're told that our first value of x is -2. So all we do is we substitute the values of x into our equation. So the value of y will be 4 lots of the x, which is -2, minus 1. And 4 times -2 is -8. Take away the 1, and we get -9. And this gives us a pair of coordinates where x is -2 and y is -9. So we can plot these on our grid. -2 and -9, so it will go here. And then when x is -1, y will be 4 lots of the -1, substituting that into here, take away the 1, and we get -4 take away the 1. This will give us -5. So our coordinate pair is our x value and then our y value. So we can plot this on the grid as -1 and -5, so that will go here. And then for the next x value, this is when x is 0, we'll substitute this into our equation for y, and then 4 times 0 is 0, take away the 1, and we get -1. So our coordinate pair is x is 0, y is -1. And we'll plot that as the y-intercept, which is here. So now perhaps you can see a pattern. We're going from -9 to -5 to -1. And this will give us a common difference of +4. So we're adding 4 every time. And this +4 comes from this 4 in our equation. We call this the gradient. We'll be looking at the gradient a bit more in a future video. So now we could either carry on with our table of results, or we can use this pattern. We know when x is 1, we'll add 4 to the -1 and we get 3. So the coordinate pair will be 1 and 3. When x is 2, we'll add 4 to the 3 and we'll get 7. So our coordinate pair will be 2 and 7. And we can plot these two coordinates as 1 and 3 and 2 and 7. Then all we need to do is to join them together to create a straight line. Okay? Let's try another question. So now we've been given the equation y equals 4 minus 2x, and we've been asked to plot the graph for values of x from -1 to 4. So if you want to try this question yourself, you can pause the video and come back when you're ready. Okay, so welcome back if you had a go. So we'll create our table. We've got the x values and the y values, and x ranges from -1 to 4. So when x is -1, y will be substituting that into here, 4 minus 2 lots of a -1. And -2 times -1 will give us a +2, so 4 plus 2 will give us 6. So our coordinate pair will be -1 and 6, which I'll plot here. And then when x is 0, we'll have 4 minus 2 lots of 0. Well, times this by 2, we'll get 0, so y will be 4. So our coordinate pair will be 0 and 4. And I'll plot this on our graph as a y-intercept. Now, can you predict what the next y value will be? Well, let's work it out. We've got 4 minus 2 lots of the x value, so 2 times 1, and 4 minus 2 is 2. So our coordinate pair is 1 and 2. So I'll plot this point at 1, 2. So then can you see that the common difference from the y values is we're taking away 2 every time? And this comes from our equation with -2 here, which is the gradient. So then when x is 2, y will be 0. 2 take away 2 to make the 0. When x is 3, we'll get -2. And when x is 4, we'll get -4. And then we can plot these points. 2, 0, 3, -2, and 4, -4. And then we can join them together with a straight line. Okay? How did you get on with that? Let's try another question. So now we've been given the equation y equals a half x minus 1, and we've been asked to plot the graph between x equals -2 to 3. So again, do you want to try this question yourself? Okay, so how did you get on? If we create our table, we're looking at values of x from -2 to 3, and then the values of y. Well, we'll substitute the -2 into our equation. So we'll get y will equal 1/2 of a -2 minus 1. And 1/2 of -2 is -1. -1 take away 1 will give us -2. So our coordinate will be -2 for x and -2 for y, which is this point here. When x is -1, we'll get 1/2 of -1, take away the 1. 1/2 of -1 is -1/2. Take away the 1 will give us -1.5. So our coordinate, -1, -1.5, which we can plot here. So what do you think the next value of y will be? Well, let's substitute in x equals 0. So we've got 1/2 of 0, take away the 1. This will give us -1. Can you see the pattern? We're adding 1/2 every time. And again, this comes from this gradient. So when x is 1, we'll have -0.5 for y. When x is 2, we'll have 0. And when x is 3, we'll have 0.5. So we can plot these values on the grid. When x is 0, when x is 1, when x is 2, and when x is 3. So this will be our straight line graph here. Okay? Let's try another question. Okay, so there's a couple of ways of thinking about this question. If we go through creating a table, so we've got x and y, then you've got -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. But we need to make y the subject of the equation. This will make our calculations much easier. So with 2x plus y equals 4, then y will equal 4 minus the 2x. So we can substitute this -1 into our new equation. Then we got 4 take away the +2. This will give us 6. We'll substitute in x equals 0. So we'll have 4 minus 2 lots of 0. And we'll get 4. And then can you see we're taking away 2 every time? So when x is 1, we'll get 2. When x is 2, we'll get 0. 3 will get -2, and 4 will get -4. And then we can plot these points. -1 and 6, 0 and 4, 1 and 2, 2 and 0, 3 and -2, and 4 and -4. But before I create the straight line, I want to show you another way we could have done this. So we've got the equation, 2x plus y equals 4. Now we only need 2 points to create a straight line. And the easiest 2 points to use are one along the y-axis when x equals 0, and another along the x-axis when y equals 0. So if we let x equals 0, we'll find the coordinate along this axis. So we'll have two lots of 0, substituting 0 into here, plus y to make 4. 2 times 0 is 0, so y will equal 4, which is this point here. And then if we let y equal 0, we'll have 2x plus 0 equals 4. So 2x must equal 4, x must equal 2, which will be this point. Then all we need to do is to join them together to create a straight line. And you can see that both ways give us the same line. Okay? Let's try one final example. So finally, we've got the equation 3x plus 2y equals 6, and we need to plot the graph between x equals -2 to 3. So do you want to try this question yourself, choosing either of them two methods? Okay, so welcome back if you want to go. So I'm going to plot this using 2 points. The first one when x equals 0, and the second one when y equals 0. So if x equals 0, we'll substitute 0 into here. So 2y will equal 6. This will become 0, so y will equal 3. So we get the coordinates 0 and 3, which I can plot on the grid here. So then when y equals 0, we'll substitute that into here. So we've got 3x plus 2 lots of 0 will make the 6. 2 times 0 will make 0. So 3x will equal 6, x will equal 2. So our coordinate will be 2 and 0, which I can plot here. So I can join these together to make a straight line. Then we can check this works. If we were to pick a random point, let's say this point here, we know x is at -2 and y is at the 6. We can substitute each of these values into our equation. So we get 3 lots of x, -2, plus 2 lots of y, which is 6. And if we add them together, this should make the 6. And -6 plus 12 does make 6. Okay? So we know this works. Well, thank you very much for watching. I hope you found that useful. If you did find that helpful, please like and subscribe. And you can download the full lesson and the PDF that accompanies this video from my website, mrmathematics.com. I'll leave a link below.